Plates ready? This is Food School, Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast. Want to feel amazing, love the way you look in the mirror, and perform your absolute best in the gym, at work, and in life? You're definitely in the right place. Food. It's you. It builds every single cell of you. And if there is one thing every human being must master, it's food. Because at the very least, eating, you do it every day, several times a day, every single day. You might as well get good at it. I'm your host, Shurina from Create Yourself That Today, your personal nutritionist and plate watcher, your diet guide and explorer, your fat loss coach and food inspector. And just someone with a lot of passion and obsession and curiosity for healthy food, healthy diets, nutrition, optimized human performance, everything and absolutely anything you put in your grocery shopping cart, your fridge, on your plate, and in your mouth. It's my business. Food School, on a mission to help you eat better daily.
It's the last time I talk about food. It's the last time I talk about food.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Food School Podcast, our Food School Marathon, and lesson number 5. That is all about how to eat to avoid hunger strikes, to be hungry when you're not supposed to be hungry, to enjoy your food, to feel satisfied, to nourish yourself instead of feeling like food became your enemy that holds you back from all of your goals. So, yesterday we talked about hunger management and how not to be hungry, how to have a healthy sense of hunger. We talked about when to eat, what food to eat, and how to balance your meals, how to manage your stress, how important it is to manage your stress and your hormones to have healthy sense of hunger. We talked about exercise and appetite and hunger. We talked about sleep and how important that is. We talked about hydration, a lot of interesting things. So if you haven't listened to the episode about hunger, listen to the episode before this one, and you're going to learn a lot of interesting and useful things. Today, we are talking about how to eat. How to eat to nourish yourself and to feel satisfied and to enjoy yourself and not to feel that you're always on some kind of diet or no matter what you eat, it ends up being unhealthy. How to not overeat, how not to binge, how not to play that guilty game with your food when you eat things that quote unquote you're not supposed to be eating for because of some of your ideas or because something you've read on the internet recently, how to not binge, how to not have any other unhealthy and unnatural behaviors or relationship with food. Food we should use food as nourishment, as something to share with people we love and admire. But first, most and foremost, we should use food as what it is, at our fuel, our nourishment basis of our life. And we need to learn how to nourish ourselves properly so that it gives us benefits instead of holding us back energy-wise or health-wise, fitness-wise. So how to eat? Well, mindfully, to put it simply and shortly. What does it mean to eat mindfully? It means to eat at appropriate place, not in front of your computer, inhaling your food while answering emails, but having a place, a dedicated place. Even if you don't have a kitchen place or you don't want to be in the kitchen, just don't sit in front of your computer eating your food. I'm guilty of doing that in the past. Now I just don't have any kinds of food while I'm working. I don't have any kinds of food by my computer, so I eat. I have just my, green tea or coffee or water, whatever that healthy drink I might have at the moment. Even again, if you don't have a dedicated space to eat, just shut down your computer and maybe move a little bit to the side of your desk and have your food there. Give it space, but it's best to have a dedicated space for that, so it tunes you to that mood when you nourish yourself, when you enjoy yourself, when you relax. So that's the first thing. Have space for eating, dedicated to eating. And then chew your food, slow it down, don't inhale it. I've always been this way, actually. The last person to finish my food, because I actually wanted to enjoy it, to taste it. I wanted to chew it properly. That's why, for example, when I was at school, I never liked to eat my food at school, because in Russia we just have like 10-15 minutes break that you had to go to a cafeteria, you had to get your food, you had to sit down, and you had to somehow in that 10-minute break also finish all that food and get back to your classes, not to be late for that. Like, I could not understand how people could do that. So I just was fasting through my school and my university, or maybe I would have like an apple or a few nuts. So that's the thing I would also do. So slow down, chew your food. That really matters. The more you chew your food, the more you enjoy it, the more cues your body gets about what kind of nutrition you get from your food, and the better also your hunger level is going to be, the more satiated you're going to be while you're eating, and the easier it's going to be to connect to your natural hunger and to actually feel when you had enough and when you are full. So chew your food well, but also in your mouth, that's where your digestion starts. There are certain enzymes that, for example, amylase, one of the enzymes that helps you to break down different forms of carbohydrates, and that starts happening in your mouth. And your mouth also helps, again, your body to prepare a digestive system for the appropriate foods that you eat. But if you just inhale it, that doesn't happen. And only because of that, because you don't chew your food and because you eat too fast, you might experience all kinds of discomforts in your stomach, in your digestive system. You might even have diarrhea because you just don't chew your food. That's also what happens. So give yourself time, chew your food. Pay attention to your senses while eating. Smell your food, taste your food. What kind of tastes and textures that food has? Do you like that or you don't like that? Smell it. Enjoy the sight of your food. That all matters also to your hunger levels, to your satiety and your satiety. How happy you feel eating your meals and after eating your meals. And only that, just that, eating mindfully will improve the hunger management and will keep you from overeating or binging a lot. Because if you ever, like I did too, binged or, ate under stress too much of the wrong foods, of some junk, you know that when you do that, you usually don't pay much attention to your food. You just eat as much as possible to stuff yourself. Basically, that's what happens. But that would be impossible if you actually took the time and chewed your food and paid attention to the smells, the crunch, or whatever sensation. If you eat junk food, if you eat it slowly, you'll eat much, much less of it. Believe me, guys, that's just what happens. You cannot make yourself sick with food if you're eating it slowly. It's just not going to happen. So slow down, chew your food, pay attention to your senses, sensations. Before each meal, before you're about to eat, kind of check with yourself. Take a deep breath. And then just think about it. Like, how do you feel inside your body? Are you feeling like eating at all? Maybe you're not even hungry. And if you're not hungry, it's fine to skip a meal. wait till your next meal. You're not going to die. Food is not going to go anywhere. You're not going to on some deserted island when there is no food. Food is always will be there. Like in our modern world, if you're listening to this podcast, food is always there. So it's not going to go anywhere. And if you're not hungry, skip that meal and wait for the next one. So take a deep breath. Realize that this food on your plate is probably because some people worked hard to grow this food, to produce this food, to put that food on the shelves of supermarket or in that place wherever you're getting your food. Understand how much work went into it, and just realize how beautiful it is, and be grateful. Say thank you and have this attitude of gratitude. It actually helps. It's proven to help with your digestion. Just by being grateful and having this amazing mood or feeling of gratitude, elevated mood, will help you to digest your food. You might have indigestion and problems with your gut bacteria just because you're eating stressed and rushed. So try to be mindful and say thank you. Take deep breath before your meals and enjoy every single bite of your food. Because also, guys, whenever you change your emotions, and whenever you feel really good emotions, that changes your biochemistry, and that biochemistry influences your gut and tells your gut whether you're in a peaceful environment or whether you're in some hostile environment, and that affects your digestion. When you're stressed and your gut feels that you're stressed, that's not the time when your body is ready to digest, to rest and digest. So you don't want to be stressed eating. And talking about stress, don't eat when you're feeling or experiencing any strong emotions like stress or being overly excited. You should not internally associate eating with emotions or using it as a coping mechanism. I used to do that same thing. I used to, whenever the uncomfortable situation comes up, I would want to eat as fast as possible, as much as possible, just to get rid of that uncomfortable feeling, because food changes our biochemistry and it does help with relaxation and to manage our stress, to bring it down, or at least to numb it down so we don't feel anything uncomfortable. And that is the reason why a lot of people actually eat too much or overeat, because they just stress, they feeling some uncomfortable emotion, or they going through some uncomfortable situation in their life, and they eat to not have that feeling. And that is a wrong, bad relationship with your food. You should be eating food at dedicated times because you need nourishment, because you physically need energy from your food. You should not be eating while stressed. That also, as I said earlier, promotes indigestion and different problems with your gut bacteria and the assimilation and absorption of nutrients, and also production of digestive juices or bile to digest your fats. So guys, do not use food as a coping mechanism with any emotions. Also, like when you're really, really happy, don't like, oh, I want to celebrate and get a bunch of cookies, or I don't know what it is. People eat food under stress. People celebrate with food. No, don't do that. But that, of course, doesn't go to celebrations. So, for example, if there is dedicated time when you get together with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones to have a nice meal, that's another story. That's not you decided to eat because you were happy or you were under stress. No, you planned this event and you have all these positive emotions, connecting with people you love, and you go and you eat, compared to, I don't know, you're sitting in front of your computer, you got this cold that stressed you out and you want to go and eat, or you got a really good news and you decided, oh, I'm going to go and celebrate it with food. No, that's not how you do it. Okay, guys, so food is not the tool to deal with your emotions. Food and emotions should be separate. And again, don't eat when you're stressed. Also, guys, a good tip. Whenever you're having a negotiation or a meeting, when a lot at stakes, and you might experience negative emotions or just feel overly stressed or excited, then I would not recommend to have a big lunch or dinner or negotiate over dinner. Have something lighter. Even if you go for dinner during negotiations, have the lightest food possible, like the least food possible. And even, order food, but don't eat a lot of it, because your body at that moment when you're stressed, excited about, the negotiation, the possible deal or something like that, your body and brain at that moment are not at rest and digest mode. They're in that, half stressed, half excited mode of dealing with the problem, with an issue at stake. Your body is not ready to digest. So again, either have something really light or order food and, again, have really little of it. So that's another quick tip and advice if you want to avoid meetings and negotiations and indigestion plus to it. And then right now, guys, we will talk about a few issues that a lot of us experience at one point in our life or the other, and we want to have less of them. So, for example, overeating. How to prevent overeating or make it happen as little as possible in your life. So as we talked before, you need to eat mindfully. You need to slow down. You need to connect with your food. You need to chew your food. And if you don't have time, for example, right now when it's lunchtime to eat, then don't eat. Wait for another meal. As I said, food is always gonna be there. It's not going anywhere. You're not going on a deserted island, probably. You're not rushed to eat everything inside because the food is not gonna be available. So slow down, chew, don't eat if you don't have time, wait till your next meal. Your body has more than enough energy stored to give you all the energy needed and required to do the work you need to do the workout you need to do. I did plenty of hardcore fasted workouts. Never did I feel any worse. So slow down to prevent overeating. Use bitter taste. As we talked yesterday, bitter taste decreases your hunger. And if, for example, you finish your meal with something bitter, like 100% chocolate, as I do, then you'll be able to stop eating much easier, but also you gotta give it time. So for example, if you finished your normal portion or what you decided to eat for that meal, what is normal for you, you finish it, give it some time, give it 15 minutes, go distract yourself, go watch something, go read something, and then see if you're still feeling hungry and eating more. If you do, then maybe you do need more nutrition, but most of the time you won't need, unless if you're starving yourself, obviously you're gonna want to eat more. But if it's just the habit of always, stuffing yourself, eating too fast, overeating, then just, eat normal amount of food and then go do something and then see how you feel. Another thing, as we talked yesterday, eat balanced meals. Do not eat meals that increase your blood sugar a lot. Do not eat a lot of junk. Eat balanced meals, a lot of vegetables, a lot of fiber, water-rich vegetables, good quality protein, good quality fats, complex carbohydrates. Eat balanced meals at each meal. That's gonna also prevent overeating, because you might be eating, rice, and you might be eating a lot of it and all the calories that your body needs for today and or at least this meal, but you'll still be hungry because you didn't get enough protein. And you might not know that, but if your body doesn't get enough protein, the amount of protein that you need, you're gonna be hungry until you get that protein. That's how important that is. Some nutrients are just vital and essential for life, and until you get it in your system, guys, you will be hungry. And that's why actually a lot of overweight people, a lot of obese people are always hungry, because a lot of them have poor diet and they eat a lot of calories, but those are their own kind of calories and not enough vital nutrients. And that's why they're always hungry, because the body is still starving on paper, starving for some nutrients, for some nutrition. So eat balanced meals, the most nutrient dense as you possibly can. And again, for overeating, remember that food is going to be there. It's not going anywhere. So if you're feeling hungry later, after half an hour when you finish a meal, you can still eat that food. It's not going anywhere. And if you're afraid that you're not going to have some food when you get hungry, then have, I don't know, some nuts or some fruits or something, that you can take with you anywhere in case that you will be starving. Night eating, another thing. First, you need to eat balanced meals during the day to avoid night eating. Like I hear it so often that people, try to be on some kind of crazy starvation diet. They don't eat the whole day. And then at night, usually around like 7 p.m., maybe 8 p.m., when the hunger hormones are at their highest, actually, they cannot, because they starve themselves the whole day, they just cannot overcome that overwhelming feeling of actual physical hunger, and they go and they binge on everything that they see. Happened to me also, so don't do that. Eat balanced meals during the day. The earlier you finish eating, the better it is for your weight loss, for your fat loss. So eat more during the day. And if you're not hungry because you are used to eating at night, start eating your breakfast. And when you start eating good breakfast, you'll be much, much less hungry at night. And another thing, I call it my favorite technique, cookie-procrastination technique, usually around, 7, 8 p.m., especially if we have to work hard still. We get this craving for, some junky foods. It always happens at night. So what do? I have this cookie procrastination technique. Why cookie? Because it always happens around some cookies for me. Anyway, I have this, cookie that I want to eat somewhere in my fridge or in my cupboard or something. Usually, actually, if I live alone, I don't even have that at home. So I have that in my house, right? And I want to eat it. It's 7, 8 p.m. So what I do is I tell my brain literally, and I mean it. I know that I'm telling myself the truth. I tell myself, if I want this thing tomorrow morning, I allow myself to eat this and as many as I want. But tonight, I'm not going to eat it. So I look at that cookie, I put it away. I'm like, if I want it tomorrow, I can eat it tomorrow. It's not going anywhere. It's staying right there where I put it. So I don't have to be worried, and my brain doesn't have to be worried. And that's what I tell myself. And I will wait till next morning without any problem. And then next morning I wake up, and at that time my brain is at much better position to make the decisions that are healthier, that are according to my goals, or that help me to eat healthier, to be my best self. And in the morning, like 99.9% of the time, I forget about that cookie in the first place. I don't even remember that I told myself that thing. And I am for sure happy that I did not eat that cookie at night, or maybe even the whole bag, you know what happens. So that's how I cope with eating at night. And again, remember, the food will always be there tomorrow morning or in a week or in a month, but the opportunities to improve yourself and be your best self might not be. And then the things like, obviously overeating, binging, and also eating the wrong quote unquote things. There are not really wrong things, but there is junk that just really harms your body with a lot of preservatives and toxins and just processed stuff that does not work for your body. So how to avoid that and not eating junk, or eating at least the least amount of it? Well, for a lot of people, for a lot of us guys, replacement works. I used to do it too. Like when I had this thing, when I used to eat a lot of junky foods, from time to time, I started replacing it. So, for example, instead of going for some cookies or chocolate, I would just eat as many as I want nuts, because I love nuts. I love cashews. I just love nuts. So I replaced it. And whenever I felt like snacking on some junk, I would just go and buy pistachios, macadamia nuts, cashew nuts. They're so fancy, so delicious. So I would just do that instead of eating junk. Or if I'm feeling like something sweet, I'm like, instead of candy, instead of this, I don't know, gummy bear, I'm just going to eat an apple, a pear, banana, any kind of fruit. Or my latest one, sometimes I miss that texture of kind of like yogurty thing, but I don't eat dairy because it just doesn't work for my body. So what I do, I found this coconut, completely natural coconut cream made from coconut flesh and coconut and just water. And you put it in the fridge, and when you take it out, it has this exact consistency. I remove all the excess water that it separates, and I just have this creamy thing, and I stir it with a spoon, and it has the exact consistency of yogurt, and that completely kills all my cravings for any kind of yogurt. And now that I've replaced it, I always do it when I crave that yogurty thing. So the power of replacement really works, guys. So whenever you're feeling like eating your usual junk, your usual crap, ask yourself, what is it that I can do a bit better, a little bit better? What is it that is healthier? And step by step, you don't necessarily have to go from eating junk, from eating cookies, sugary, the worst cookies possible, to eating apples. You don't have to do that. You can go step by step. Instead of Oreo cookies, you get for some maybe keto, gluten-free, but with coconut organic sugar, some that kind of cookies. They're still much, much healthier for you. At least they don't have the toxins in them, even though they're not the nutritious foods or might impact your blood sugar. But anyway, a little bit better. And then after those cookies, after you eat them for a while, maybe you go for some cracker made from flaxseed. So I don't know, whatever that can be, just a little bit better. That's another technique to start eating all the junky stuff that you can be eating. And just don't starve yourself. Again, replacement works. Starving yourself really does. At least not long term, not consistently. So, to recap, eat mindfully, guys. As simple as that. Have a space for eating, dedicate some time, chew your food, engage your senses, see your food, smell your food, feel grateful for your food. I said chew your food, take deep breaths, feel grateful. Don't use food to cope with stress or to celebrate special occasions, except if you got together for a meal to share food with your loved ones. Eat balanced meals when you eat to prevent overeating. Again, slow it down, eat balanced foods, balanced meals, use bitter taste, wait when you finish your food, 15 minutes, distract yourself to really connect with your hunger and see if you need more food, to avoid night eating. Remember that the food is always going to be there, and use my cookie-procrastination technique. And also replace, if you're eating too much junk, replace junky foods with a little bit better version of it. Don't starve yourself. And you can do it, guys. You can have healthier eating relationship, healthier food relationship, and that really has the power to transform your energy levels, your emotions, how you approach your life, how you approach anything in your life, food, and how you handle it, how you approach it, how you use it, how you eat it. It has the power to heal and transform all areas of your life. That's why I'm so passionate about it. Well, anyway, thank you for listening. Stay tuned for another lesson tomorrow. And till next time, as usual, eat better daily.